Remember when taking your vitamins meant a chalky tablet your mom left next to the cereal box? One pill, no promises, no influencers. Those days are gone. While you've been scrolling past wellness ads, the supplement aisle has turned into the wild west of marketing. Gummies that are basically candy, powders promising to bulletproof your immune system, brands that have spent more time answering to regulators than reformulating. And almost none of it gets the oversight you'd assume because supplements run largely on the honor system. The company decides what goes in the bottle and the rest of us find out later. Here's the thing, you're handing over real money for products that range from harmless but pointless to outright misleading. So let's talk about the 6 vitamin brands you should skip, and the 3 that actually earn a spot in your cabinet, because life's too short to pay premium prices for expensive urine. Smash that subscribe button, because we're about to save you from some seriously questionable bottles. Skip number 1, Centrum. Let's start with the one in everybody's cabinet. Centrum, the everyman multivitamin that's been sold as nutritional insurance since the 1980s. Here's the uncomfortable part. For a generally healthy adult eating a normal diet, that insurance pays out almost nothing. A review for the United States Preventive Services Task Force, covering dozens of trials and hundreds of thousands of people, found that everyday multivitamins deliver little to no measurable benefit for preventing heart disease, cancer, or early death. A separate analysis that tracked around 390,000 adults for over 20 years found no longevity benefit whatsoever, and the formula doesn't help its case. Centrum leans on the cheap synthetic versions of nutrients, folic acid instead of methylfolate, cyanocobalamin instead of the active B12, oxide minerals your body absorbs poorly. You get a long ingredient list at tiny doses, padded out with dyes and fillers. What makes this particularly frustrating is the price to pointlessness ratio. You're paying around $15 a bottle for the feeling of doing something healthy. Unless a doctor flagged an actual deficiency, Centrum is a daily ritual that mostly benefits the company selling it. Skip number 2, Airborne. Next up is the brand that got caught red-handed, Airborne, the fizzy tablet a school teacher invented to fight off colds. The pitch was irresistible. Drop it in water before a flight or at the first sniffle, and supposedly armor yourself against whatever's going around. The problem? There was never credible science behind any of it. In 2008, the makers of Airborne settled charges from the Federal Trade Commission over deceptive advertising, with the total settlement funds reaching $30 million. Regulators stated plainly that there was no competent, reliable evidence the product could prevent colds or fight germs. And get this, the single clinical trial the company once waved around was reportedly run by a 2-man operation set up specifically to study Airborne, with no doctors or scientists involved. Once that came out, the cold, curing language quietly softened into vague immune support talk. Strip away the marketing and you've got an overpriced vitamin C tablet with an herbal mix, sometimes carrying more vitamin A than you need. At roughly $10 a box, you're paying for a story. The most telling part is that the formula never had to change because the words on the box did all the work. Skip number 3, Olly. Now for the format that fooled everyone into thinking medicine should taste like dessert. Gummy vitamins with Olly as the poster child. But here's where it gets tricky. A gummy has to taste good, which means sugar, and it has to hold its shape, which means there's only so much room for actual nutrients. You physically cannot fit a meaningful dose of minerals like magnesium, calcium, or iron into a chewy candy without turning it into a horse pill. So gummy brands quietly leave the heavy hitters out or shrink them to a rounding error. Then there's the sugar. Most gummy vitamins carry a couple grams of added sugar per serving, which sounds harmless until you're taking them daily for years. And independent testers have repeatedly found that gummy supplements degrade faster than tablets, meaning the dose on the label and the dose in the bottle drift apart over the months it sits in your cabinet. At around $14 for a bottle that empties fast, you're paying a premium for the candy coating. A gummy is a treat cosplaying as a supplement, and your body can tell the difference. Skip number 4, Goli. If Olly is candy pretending to be a supplement, Goli is a marketing campaign pretending to be medicine. These are the apple cider vinegar gummies that conquered your feed. The whole pitch rests on the supposed magic of apple cider vinegar. Here's the real kicker. The dose doesn't support the hype. An industry self-regulatory body, the National Advertising Division, reviewed Goli's claims and concluded the amount of vinegar in the gummies is far too low to deliver the health benefits people associate with drinking the stuff. The real benefits, where they exist at all, come from much larger amounts of acetic acid than a gummy contains. And get this, each gummy carries roughly 4 times more sugar than vinegar, so the product marketed as a health gummy is mostly, candy again. Goli has also faced multiple class action lawsuits over whether its supplements do anything they advertise. What built this brand wasn't science. It was an army of influencers and celebrity backers who's turning a sugary gummy into a viral must-have. At about $19 a bottle, you're funding a content strategy. The most cynical part is that it works spectacularly. Skip number 5, Spring Valley and store brand herbals. Our fifth skip isn't one brand, it's a whole category problem. Store brand herbal supplements, the cheap bottles lining the shelves at every big box and drugstore. Here's the thing that should worry you. Back in 2015, the New York Attorney General's Office DNA tested store brand herbal supplements from 4 major retailers, including Walmart's Spring Valley line and GNC's house brand. Overall, only 21% of the products showed DNA from the plant listed on the label. At one retailer, that number was 4%. Investigators reported finding fillers like rice, wheat, and houseplant material instead of the advertised herb. Now, in fairness, the industry pushed back hard and they had a point. DNA testing can miss plant material in processed extracts, where manufacturing destroys the DNA. GNC retested its lots and said its products were compliant. So take the exact percentages with a grain of salt. But here's where it gets tricky. The bigger issue stands. Herbal supplements operate with minimal oversight, and you're trusting a budget brand to put the right herb at the right dose in every single bottle. With herbals especially, rock bottom pricing is a gamble on what's actually inside. If this is already saving you from a bad purchase, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Skip number 6, Emergen-C. Our last skip is the one you reach for the second you feel a tickle in your throat. Emergen-C, the fizzy packet promising to power up your immune system. Each serving packs 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Sounds impressive until you learn the recommended daily amount is about 90 milligrams for men and 75 for women. Your body takes what it needs and flushes the rest, which is the polite way of saying you're paying to make expensive urine. Here's the real kicker, and it's backed by a large Cochrane review of dozens of studies. Taking vitamin C every day does not prevent colds in the general population. It might shave the duration by around 10%, turning a 10-day cold into a 9-day cold. And starting it after symptoms appear, which is exactly when most people tear open a packet, does basically nothing. The original formula also carries about 6 grams of added sugar per serving. So you're getting a sugary drink mix, a mega dose of a vitamin you'll mostly excrete, and a promise the research doesn't support. The most frustrating part is how good it feels to do something, even when that something is nothing. Worth it. Number 3, now, foods. Now for the brands that actually deserve your money, starting at number 3. Now, Foods, the family-owned workhorse that's been around since 1968. Here's what Now gets right. It's affordable, the catalog is enormous, and the company runs serious in-house testing labs, going further on quality control than most brands at its size and price. You're not paying a premium for a pretty bottle or a celebrity endorsement. You're paying for the actual nutrients. The honest caveat, Now leans heavily on its own internal testing rather than carrying independent third-party seals on every single product. And with a catalog that huge, quality can vary item to item. So it pays to check which specific products carry outside verification. But for a value-focused shopper who wants real doses without the theater, Now is hard to beat. A bottle of a single nutrient often runs under $10, and you can actually find out how they test it. It's the unglamorous, no-nonsense option that puts substance over story. And if you're finding this ranking useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. Worth it. Number 2, Thorne. At number 2, we step up to the brand the professionals actually use, Thorne. Here's what sets it apart. Thorne's manufacturing facility is NSF certified, and more than 20 of its products carry the NSF certified for Sport Seal, the same standard trusted by major professional sports leagues. In a survey of healthcare practitioners, Thorne came out as the brand recommended more than any other in clinical settings. That's not marketing. That's the people who do this for a living voting with their recommendations. Thorne uses the active, bioavailable forms of nutrients that cheaper brands skip. Methylcobalamin for B12, methylfolate instead of folic acid, the activated form of B6. Your body doesn't have to do as much work to actually put them to use. The honest caveat is the price. Thorne is premium, and for someone with no specific health needs, it can be more firepower than you require. It's also sold mostly online and through practitioners rather than at your corner store. But if you want clinical grade quality and you're willing to pay for it, this is the gold standard. you get exactly what the label promises in the forms that count. Worth it number one, Nature Made, and the number one brand that's actually worth it goes to the one you can grab at any drugstore tonight, Nature Made. Here's why it takes the top spot. Nature Made carries more USP verified products than any other national brand. That little USP seal means an independent organization confirmed the bottle contains what the label says, at the dose it claims, without dangerous contaminants. For a mass market brand sitting on a shelf next to a dozen sketchy competitors, that's rare, and it matters. What makes this particularly satisfying is the value. You're not paying boutique prices. Nature Made is pharmacy cheap, often under $15, and available almost everywhere. It's the unusual combination of affordable, accessible, and independently verified, which is exactly what most people actually need. The honest caveat, Nature Made often uses the standard synthetic forms rather than the fancy activated ones, and its ingredients are globally sourced, which the company does disclose. It's not clinical grade, but for the average person who wants a trustworthy vitamin D, fish oil, or magnesium without a research project, it delivers. The cheap drugstore brand that quietly passes the test the expensive ones charge you triple for. So here's what the supplement aisle really comes down to. It's a contest between brands that sell you a feeling and brands that sell you a verified product, and the gap between those two has never been wider or more profitable. On the skip side, you've got Centrum's pointless insurance, Airborne's settled false claims, Olly's candy in disguise, Goli's influencer hype, the store brand herbals you can't fully trust, and Emergen-C's megadose of stuff you'll mostly flush. On the worth it side, Now Foods, Thorne, and Nature Made all share one trait. They can prove what's in the bottle. Here's the final piece of wisdom, and it's less complicated than the marketing wants you to believe. Look for an independent testing seal, USP or NSF, and ignore almost everything else on the front of the label. The claims are written to sell you. The seal is earned by passing a test. And remember, supplements are meant to fill a real gap, not to buy peace of mind by the bottle. If your doctor flagged a specific deficiency, follow their guidance over any ranking, including this one. Your supplement choices say a lot about whether you read the label or trust the hype. Choose the ones that earn it. Hit subscribe if this changed how you'll shop for vitamins, and drop a comment telling us which rankings you think we got wrong.